up for me really fast. It's the Flare Buttercup. I know. I honestly think I got it.
Wait. You almost got Flare Buttercup? No way, no. That's so whack, dude.
How's that whack?
Why don't you do something you never do, like a board slide on a rail?
That?
You never do board slides. The only tricks you ever do is flares and buttercups.
Dude, how do you expect me to do this? I ride park. I don't grind rails.
You're just making excuses at this point. We're literally in a skate park right now, and this is a skate park feature.
I am a park rider. Is that hard to like get into your head?
Bro, we're at a skate park.
Well, I don't care if we're at a skate park. I'm a park rider.
Bro, we are at a skate park. Come on, man. We are at a skate park. This is a skate park feature.
I'm a park rider.
We are at a skate park, man. Come on.
I am a park rider.
We're at a skate park, man. Just do the board slide.
Will! I'm a park rider!
Are you seriously mad over this?
I am mad enough!
Are you so mad that we could separate Undialed and make fake beef to get more ad revenue?
I'm actually not that mad enough. I don't want to stoop that low. I guess I'll just learn how to board slide. All right, all jokes aside, Clayton Rex here, and I'm gonna teach you how to grind some stuff in skate parks. Gonna be some rails, how to stall, all that good stuff, and how to slide grinds. So by the end of this video, and you'll be street as funk. Let's get into it. All right, a big thing that I learned, I actually recently, not recently, but within like the past couple years is when I've tried to progress my grinding skills, which I'm still not good at it. Grinding rails is hard. So if you're going into this thinking, Clayton, I can't do this. Why can't I do this, Clayton? I suck at grinds. I suck in general. Well, you don't suck, you just haven't learned it. And it takes time, just like everything else, put in the effort and all that good stuff to have a great outcome. So basically I'm gonna give you some pointers that I've been told and some things that have helped me learn how to grind, and maybe something that will help you that you never really thought of. And it's just maybe something, leaning over the bars a little bit, that'll help you. So we'll do it. First thing, on a board sled, on a rail. Me being a goofy rider, which means my right foot is forward. Luckily, it doesn't really matter. It just depends on which way you ride up to the rail. The best way to know which side the rail is, there's backside board slide and frontside board slide. And the way to know the difference between them is whenever you're coming up to the rail this way, your back is to the rail, right? Which makes it backside board slide. And then, same thing, when you're coming up this way, and if your front is facing the rail, whenever you're at the rail, so you're like parallel to it, that is frontside board slide. So that's just a good way to remember. But today we're just gonna focus on backside board slides. A good thing I've learned from my good friend Will, you may know him, you may not. Something that he told me that really helped me with my grinds is whenever you're on the rail, you want to jump over and try to center your weight on the rail and stay over your bar so you can actually stay balanced. Because something that I had a problem with is that I would get on the rail, I would get on it like this, and then I would always be confused on why I couldn't stay on the rail. All it is just, you have to get on top of the rail. It doesn't really matter if you're on a square rail, but on a round rail, it does matter because you just gotta be straight on top of it so you can slide until the very end, and then you have successfully done a board slide. It's something to help you if you're scared. This is obviously a pretty tall rail, but if you just have a flat bar at your house or whatever, basically just start off chinking the rail and then get further and further and further. I'll give you a quick example. So now that you've kind of perfected chinking the rail and staying on the rail for, I don't know, like half of the rail, and you feel pretty confident in it, now the whole rail. This is the hardest part and the hardest thing to learn because you have to learn a new balance point. Instead of doing a tail whip, you're sliding the middle of your deck along the rail. Speaking of the middle of the deck, the first thing I will tell you is to keep the scooter in the middle of your feet. If you ride ski, board slide, it's gonna be very hard for you. I'm sorry to break it to you. Or if you ride like this, a board slide is gonna be hard for you. And yes, I have seen kids ride like this. I don't know. Whenever you're doing a grind, for me, luckily, I have this root logo. Whenever I'm doing a grind, I kind of keep the rail about right here. Whether I'm doing a lip slide, I'm doing normal board, always try to keep it right there in the middle because the center of your deck is the center of your deck. So you're gonna be more balanced rather than being on the rail like this or like that. So obviously you're gonna be on the rail a lot better and you're gonna be able to stay on it longer. Another thing, see these awesome things on the bottom of your deck? They're called grind rails and they're used for grinding. Whenever you grind, you don't wanna be just on one side, you don't wanna be grinding it like this with the deck up like that with your heel dragging because you're off balance, which can make you do that. And also, you don't wanna be going into the rail like this because what will happen, you'll come up to the rail and go, and then your face hits the ground right there. It kind of hurts. The best way to know that you're locked into the grind is be perfectly flat and right in the center. You're just like that, you're solid. Well, at least for me. In class, I had ADHD, so I would always get a pencil and like balance it on my finger. And that's pretty much where you want to grind it, is the balance point of your deck. So think of it kind of that way. It might help you a little bit. And also, to make your grinds look as straight as possible, as easy as possible, don't drag your heel. Because if you drag your heel, it might be easier, but it's just gonna, one, ruin your shoes, it's gonna slow down your grind and take all the wax off to ruin everyone else's fun. Whenever you do grinds, just try to learn them. At first, I mean, obviously, sliding your heel is fine. No one's gonna hate you for doing your first board slide with a heel. Whenever you start getting better at them, just start doing it more and more to where your deck is in the middle and there's no feet touching, and it just looks better and feels better. Lastly, for this rail, if you're doing a rail that's, I don't know, long, so something that will help you with longer rails is looking at the very end of the rail. Rather than just looking right in front of you, look further ahead so that way you know where your destination is. Because if you're hopping on a rail, you're gonna know that you're in it good or bad. Hop on there, glance at it, and then look. Look at the very end of that rail. That's your point B. You're on A to B. That's the point of a rail. Very crucial thing about hitting a rail is when you're on it, you don't want to be leaning back because if you lean back, that's gonna happen. You don't want to be leaning too far forward or that's gonna happen. Just like whenever you're doing a stall on a quarter pipe, you basically want to just kind of lean over your bars a little bit so that way everything's centered like so, and I can't balance. But when you're on it, you just want to be leaned over just a little bit so that way all your weight is on the grind rails. And so that way you can just slide better and it'll make it easier to grind. So now, to teach you Feeble stalls. Let's go. All right, Feeble stall. Exactly what I'm doing. Same thing, this is back Feeble. And then if you want to do front Feeble, just like that. We're learning back Feebles. This is basically the most basic trick that you can learn on a quarter pipe, in my opinion, other than dropping in. Hopefully, you can drop in whenever you are watching this video, and you can just take it to the next step. And the best way for me, whenever I was learning Feeble stalls, is whenever you come up the quarter, you just want to pick up your wheel a little bit, and then have your deck, and then just kind of like use your back foot to just slide it on. So that way you're actually locked into it. You don't want to get onto it and then be like this and then slip out and then hit your butt. Because no one wants to fall and coping on their butt because it doesn't feel good at all. Whenever you do it, same thing just like the rail. You want to stay over your scooter like this. That way when you're in it, you can stay in it. You can basically stay in it for as long as you want with no hands or anything. What you want to do is you want to have all your weight on your front wheel rather than your back wheel, because if it's on your back wheel, that happens. You want to get this part of your deck, the dropout, remember that, dropout. We're using that reference a lot. So you want to get the dropout locked in to the metal with all your weight on the front, and you will be able to stay in this thing forever. Just like that. So, like I said before, come up, bring it back. It's mainly in your back foot, and then all on the weight of your scooter. The biggest thing I will say about Feeble stalls, the biggest thing, is do not go fast at this trick. If you go too fast, you're gonna shoot off the ramp like this. And you're gonna get really aggravated and wonder why you're not able to do it. And the reason being is because you're going too fast. What you wanna do is drop in normally. You don't really wanna pump. You're not trying to air this. You're not trying to do an air trick. You're not trying to impress the ladies. You're trying to do a Feeble stall. All you do, drop in, don't pump, kinda drop in normally. Just pop into it. The slower the better, because the slower you go into it, the more time you have to kind of actually lock it in. Because if you're going fast, you're just going to do this. And it's going to kind of throw you off to the side. So keep your weight over the quarter, over your bars, and then you'll be good. All right. Feeble slides, feeble grinds, same thing, whichever you prefer. This is a very well-known trick just to kind of mob around the skate park once you're like more of like a advanced rider or beginner. That's probably the most typical grind out of all the grinds on coping, and that's why most of the time you'll see scooter riders' decks be bent in and cracked all right here because of feeble. Whenever you do it, you don't want to treat it like a feeble stall. You want to go at more of an angle, but you still don't want to go fast. That's the big thing. You don't want to go fast. You want to go at like a moderate speed. So that way whenever you're going at it, you're not gonna carve too much and shoot off the side of the ramp, or you're not gonna go off and then hit someone that's trying to stand right here and that's like has their scooter hanging up. The best way to start is you wanna go at a little angle, bigger angle, and obviously the more that you want to slide, the more speed you want. But at that point, you already have feeble so down that you don't even have to think about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go a little bit of an angle just so I can get a little bit of a slide. You're gonna do the same thing. You don't want to go too fast. You kind of want to go like a moderate speed, just so whenever you're in it, you can lock in it and stay over your bars and stay over the coping, or you'll be able to slide it until either the quarter ends or you run out of wax coping. Same thing. Little angle, weight over this quarter. You want to stay locked into it. The more over the quarter, the better. If you're leaning back this way, you're obviously going to go this way. So the way that you want to go in is the way you lean. So when you're over your scooter, you're going to be like this, so that way whenever you're done, all you have to do is pick up your front wheel and you're right into the quarter, and you can keep all the speed because you're not jumping the flat. And lastly, the biggest thing that I see a lot of people do, they do this. They go completely sideways with their wheel like this. And yes, it might get you on, but you have same thing like a board slide, you have a good chance of slipping out whenever you're doing it. So let's say you land really far out and you're sideways. All the controls in your front wheel, just like every other trick, just like mobbing around the skate park. Just bring it back in and then steer whichever way you want to go. So if you want to be closer to the coping, go in. If you're going to be further away from the coping, you go away. Just like steering, normal. For me personally, I like being this close to the coping. It just makes it so you can lock in better and slide further, and then easier to do tricks out of because you're not out here trying to tail it over with your back end slipping out whenever you jump. So the closer you are, the better.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Will Cashin, aka White Trash Willie. Now that we are feeling pretty confident in board slides on rails and feeble stalls on quarter pipes and feeble grinds on quarter pipes, the next step is to learn how to feeble grind a ledge. Learning feeble grinds was one of the first tricks that I ever learned on a scooter. I'm pretty sure I learned how to feeble grind a ledge before I learned how to like tail whip. All it is your front wheel up on the deck and your back wheel and drop out basically being dragged along the corner that you're grinding on. Essentially, you're in this position. Wheel up top, drop out, like Clayton said, drop out on the ledge, your wheel hanging off. Now, for a lot of you newer riders, you're probably wondering what the big hype is between like a park deck and a street deck. There is no such thing as a park deck and a street deck. There's just decks that are like better in different areas. One thing that makes street decks better is they have bigger dropouts, so you have more room to lock into the grind with. So that's like a little difference between the decks for you newer riders who didn't know that. Basically, when you're doing a feeble grind, similarly to a quarter pipe, you're gonna be approaching the ledge, but instead of approaching the ledge, going straight at it like this and having to turn 90 degrees, grind, and go back in, you're going basically parallel with the ledge. So you're going at it like this, jumping on to the side, getting into it, leaning forward, and grinding through. Something that really helped me when I was learning this trick was my wheel position and my body weight. So when I do a feeble grind, I basically jump into the ledge. I make sure that I lock my dropout. If you lock your dropout, it makes this trick a million times easier instead of just doing it like this, dragging both your heels. So you want to get your dropout locked in, and once your dropout is locked in, you basically want to keep your front wheel anywhere between 2 and 6 inches from the ledge, just so that you're not like way out here and you're not like riding the edge of a 50-50. You just want to be like right here. Make sure when you're doing this trick that you're steering with your front wheel, because it's very easy to like have your wheel straight with your deck and go, and then it just drags you out and you just do this and you kind of just slide out. But if you keep your wheel straight in the direction that you want to go, it basically allows it to keep going and grind as long as you want. So another really important thing of this trick is your body position. I call it body position because I have a pretty like set in stone way of how I like where I place my body, and I found that it really helps me carry Feebles for a long distance. On this trick, I'm not leaning back, I'm not leaning over my bars. What I'm doing is I'm actually leaning over the opposite side of where my bars are. So what I mean by this is, since if I look at my scooter like this, my bars are more on my right side of my body. So I need to be leaning a little bit to the left. If I'm on the grind like this, I'm gonna be leaning over the ledge like this. And another thing I do is when I lean over the ledge like this, I almost kind of tilt my scooter up a little bit, so that way it makes it a little bit easier to like grind through as well. And then basically keep your front wheel straight and your body leaning over to the opposite way. Now if you're doing a front Feeble, I'm just gonna tell you this in case you wanna learn a front Feeble. So if you're doing a front Feeble and you're on the other side of the ledge, you wanna do the exact same thing but the opposite way. So if my bars are more on my left side of my body, then I need to lean more to the right and be over the ledge. You basically wanna keep, like a good rule of thumb is keeping your chin very equal to the end of the ledge. So that way you're like really always over it. Keep your chin over the corner of the ledge. It's a good body position. I'll do a few Feebles for you just so you can see. Let's do it. Ooh. So, Feebles are actually like a super fun trick to get good because you can basically do them on like anything. Like you can literally do them on anything, any curb, anything that's like a nice square on it. Basically, if you have like a curb outside, ask your parents first, but go outside, get some wax up that curb and just practice some Feeble grinds. Ask your parents first because it will ruin your curb outside. Or find a red curb, like a fire lane curb, like the red ones. Those ones should grind perfect. You don't even need wax. Hopefully you guys like got a little bit out of trying to learn these basic grinds. We were mostly catering this video to newer riders. So if you are an experienced rider and all these tricks are super easy for you, I'm sorry, but we gotta help out the newer generation of booter riders. If you guys enjoyed this video, it means a lot if you guys dropped a like and dropped a subscribe. We do basically daily uploads, so. Also, make sure to go check out our website at undialed.co. We got some merchandise in stock, so go check it out, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace out.